Thalia arrived in Eldergloom on an overcast afternoon, the sky a dense blanket of grey that seemed to weigh heavily on the village below. The air hummed with the unsettling stillness, unique to isolated places, where the forest seemed to hold its breath, and every slight sound was magnified. The villagers moved with a wary caution, eyes flicking nervously to the tree line as though expecting it to stir with menace. Determined to dismiss the haunting tale of the Daylight Wraith as mere superstition, Thalia began her investigation by visiting the village's small library, a dusty enclave of forgotten knowledge. The librarian, an elderly woman with eyes that glinted like shards of obsidian, reluctantly permitted her to browse a collection of brittle journals and records. It was said these contained the details of past appearances of the Wraith. Thalia flipped through the yellowed pages with care, noting the repetitive nature of the descriptions: daylight abductions, the lingering sound of distant whispers carried on the wind, and the inevitable loss as villagers vanished without a trace. Her skepticism began to waver when she stumbled upon a journal entry written by someone named Elisa, dated 10 years prior. Elisa's words were frenzied, her handwriting jagged and panicked. She described dreams now bleeding into waking moments, her own voice echoing back from corners in hushed, unfamiliar tones. Thalia shuddered, the imagery vivid in her mind. The entry ended abruptly, as if Elisa had been snatched away mid-thought. As Thalia left the library, seeking fresh air, she heard a rustle of paper and turned in time to see a leaf of parchment flutter to the floor. It was a single page, scrawled with strange symbols that seemed to writhe unsettlingly beneath her gaze. Closer inspection revealed a map of Eldergloom, markings leading into the depths of the encroaching forest to a spot unnervingly designated the Wraith's Haven. Uneasy but resolute, Thalia followed the map to its ominous destination. The villagers watched her departure with a collective dread, their faces drawn, retreating into the sanctuary of their homes as she disappeared among the ancient trees. The path wound deeper, the forest's embrace growing tighter, the light diminishing until even the sun felt cold and distant. At the designated location, she found a clearing, eerily devoid of vegetation except for a solitary stone, worn smooth by time. As she approached, the air thickened, pressing against her lungs, her pulse thrumming uncomfortably in her ears. On the stone was a basin, filled with water that shimmered with an unnatural light. Peering into it, she saw scenes flash in quick succession, villagers from different eras repeating the same horrified expressions, their mouths forming silent screams as shadowy figures wrenched them from their world into another. Among them was Elisa, her eyes meeting Thalia's through the water with a pleading intensity. Thalia recoiled, her own reflection rippling into view, twisted by terror and realization. The artifact she had dismissed as folklore suddenly surged within her mind with unforgiving clarity. The Wraith was not a spectre of death, but a guardian of a forgotten world, a realm that beckoned the souls drifted beyond the fabric of reality. Each victim was a bearer of memories, fragmented and returned to the land from which they had emerged, and now it was her turn to decide. Her path was clear but terrifying, to step into the space between worlds, to confront the essence of the Wraith itself, and untangle the truth submerged beyond the veil of Eldergloom's existence. She understood her role, to bridge the severed legacy, to face the resentment of spirits long since lost, and to either end the cycle of despair or become another echo lost in the daylight. Clenching her resolve, Thalia touched the surface of the water, cool and unyielding, and let it pull her under into darkness and beyond. As her vision blurred and the forest's whispers closed around her, she realized the truth had always been clear. Eldergloom's secret was as timeless as the forest, as persistent as the echo of her own heartbeat within the shadows.